enough to knock me out, but I'm still holding the throne. You never know till it's over. So pretty it hurts. Just beware of the thorns.
Hello everyone. I'm going to talk today, I think, about prison visits and how they affect people, Some people, they refuse visits because they don't want to deal with the emotions of seeing their loved ones leave or crying as they leave or whatever. They don't want to go through all that. Anyway, if you like this prison content that I'm doing, like and subscribe, share. Okay, let's do this. So, with me, it depended on how far away I was from home, because I was in different prisons. Some of them was close to home, some of them was not so close. But I usually got a visit every weekend or every other weekend. Sometimes it might be 3 weeks, but usually it's every weekend or every other weekend. And some people, they only got visits once in a while because they're people who lived out of state or maybe even out of the country, or they didn't get any visits. Either they refused visits, or their people just couldn't make it, or they didn't have nobody to come and see them. But I always did. And people that only get visits once in a while, it's a planned thing. They people tell them when they're going to come, and then they just keep talking about it and keep them up progress until the day comes. With me, I knew pretty much when I was getting visits. You could only have visits on weekends, and there was 2 blocks, and so I usually called, and they would tell me they was coming up, even though I knew they were. They'd tell me whether they was going to be in the morning or the afternoon. That's how the visits were divided up. You either visited in the morning or the afternoon. I think it was, if I remember correctly, it was 9 to 2, and then 2 to 8 at night or something like that. So here's what happens. The emotions and everything goes on. So as the week goes on, this is with me. And I'm sure it's the same with others. You got a visit coming that weekend. As the week gets closer to ending, it's about time to get a visit. And you call and they say they're coming up. But it's not until the day of the visit that it really starts. Now, with somebody that's been waiting for a month or longer for a visit, I'm sure that it goes by slow until the day of the visit. They're, it's almost like waiting for Christmas or something. A kid waiting for Christmas or something. Anyway, so on the day of the visit, I may, if it's going to be in the afternoon, I may call that morning and see if everything's still all right. Because sometimes things happen and your people can't make it for one reason or another. But if it's in the morning and I'm in a prison that's quite a ways away, I may call, see if they're about ready to come. But if it's close, I won't. There's one prison, South Central. I was only like 25 miles away, so I really wasn't worried if they wasn't able to make it for some reason or another, because there's always another day, another time. So you're waiting there for your name to be called. If it goes past the visiting time, because my people usually was there on time. If it starts going past the visiting time, you start getting kind of antsy, you know. What's going on? Why ain't they here? Why haven't they called me yet? What's the holdup? Then your name gets called. You know, and you're showered, clean, you ready to go up there. So you walk away to the visitor room. And if you're at the other end of the prison, sometimes it's a long walk. You get up there, and there's a dress out room you got to go in. And the guard takes your ID, looks at it. You change into prison clothes. Visiting room clothes. But before you do, when you get naked, you have to do the search thing, you know. Cough, run your hand through your hair, lift your arms, lift your sack, turn around, lift your feet, squat, cough, all the whole 9 yards. Then you go in. Your people's there, and you hug them, and you guys have a good time for a few hours. Sometimes there might be some times when they can't stay long, and this was usually they usually only did this when I was lived close, because if I lived far away, they wanted to, you know, they had a long trip to make, so they wanted to stay as long as they could. They had to leave early and everything. But once in a while, when I was in South Central Correctional Center, they'd say we can only stay a little bit. You know, we may come back tomorrow. But anyway, you catch up on what's going on, and they ask you about how things are going, and you just enjoy the. Most times you enjoy the visit, unless there's something sad they have to tell you about, maybe somebody passing away, or some other bad news. Or once in a while, I've seen people get in arguments in visiting room. I never did get in an argument. My brother once he really wasn't mad at me. He was just venting his emotions about me being in prison, and how he had to grow up without a brother. He was just venting, you know, and he apologized when he was leaving. But most visits are happy. You're enjoying them. So there's this anxiety before you get there. Then there's the happiness of visiting. And then comes time to leave. If they stay until visiting's over, you know, they say, visiting is over. It's time to leave, guys. So, and they usually say this like 5 minutes or so before the visit is over to give everybody time, you know. Then that's when it's sad. You know, I could see the pain in my family's face, my parents, my brother, of them having to leave. And I was sad too, because, you know, I'm going back to a cell. But it really hurt seeing the pain on their faces, you know, everything they was going through. Sometimes they'd be tears. And if you looked around, you could see the same with other visitors. Everybody went through that. So then you leave, you know, they leave first, then you leave. You gotta go do that strip thing again. You gotta get naked, lift your arms, open your mouth, run your hand through your hair, lift your sack, turn around, lift your feet, squat and cough, the whole thing. Then you head back to your housing unit. If your house is on the yard, you you can stop and you can go to the yard if you want. But usually I didn't. I headed straight back, and most times I had my partner in the cell with me, my road dog. We cell several times, and he would always ask about the visit. Other people would too. Um, People I worked out with and stuff. How was the visit? And sometimes you'd see them up on the visit with you. Uh, and you're tired, you're exhausted. You may tell some how the visit went and everything, but you're tired. You just want to lay down. It's just sitting there all day just tires you out. And if you had food visits, it's even worse. Food visits is like they had them 4 times a year. Your people could, I think it's 3 or 4 clear containers could bring food in. And so you had to sign up for this. And I mean, you get stuffed because your people bring up a lot of stuff, and they may eat a little bit of it, but they mainly brought it up for you. So you're just full by the time you're done. So when you get back, all you want to do is just lay down, or at least you may not sleep, but you just want to lay down and rest for a little bit. But that's how the visits were for me. And sometimes if you in the visiting room, some visiting rooms you can go to the get up and go and get like a soda, or they had these vending machines, get a soda or maybe a sandwich or something. But like in Licking, South Central Correctional Center, you had to sit there and tell your people what you wanted, and they went up and got it for you. But that it was just, the whole thing was emotional. So just remember, you go to prison, you're not only messing up your own life, you're messing up the lives of the people that love you. You're putting them through. They have to pay to come and see you. Pay gas and spend time, take the time out to come and see you. They go through all kinds of changes for you because you're in prison. And that's if they stick with you. They may decide not to mess with you. And so you're in there and you're not getting visits or anything. But if they do, just realize you're putting them through pain. My mom told me, you're not the only one doing this life sentence. I'm doing this life sentence with you. So, and I don't like to cause anybody pain, and especially those I love. So just remember that when you mess up and go to prison. I hope God, nobody, none of you young people out there mess up and go to prison. You don't want this. You don't want to put your family through this, your loved ones. And that's about all I have for you today. Oh, a friend of mine has and I'm like co-owner of it, a Facebook group called Ex-Con Forum. Sorry about that. So if you want to check that out, go check that out. And we'll see you next time.